Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/ProRevenge. Why the boss should always listen to his employees? In the first story, you'll understand why. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. My boss didn't listen to me and makes a $10,000 mistake. So I work at an outdoor bar and grill. I work as a busboy, but have some responsibilities outside of that. One of the responsibilities is stocking the walk-in freezer when beer shipments come in. The restaurant that I work at is very popular in my town, which means it takes a very long time to stock the mammoth shipments. It takes most of the day, 100 to 200 cases of beer. So I got to work on a shipment day, and there's more than I thought. I'm taking a lot longer than I usually would. I look up at the sky, and the clouds are looking pretty rough. I look at my phone, and lo and behold, it's going to thunderstorm. So I take the hand truck and start moving the beer under a canopy. My boss sees this and doesn't like that I'm taking another 30 minutes to move the beer for a second time. She was a police officer for 20 years, and as she puts it, I always know best. So she just starts chucking the beer in the freezer way too high with no regard for how it's stacked. I know she's going to mess up royally and try and explain that it's not how you do it. This is how the following conversation ensued. My memory isn't the best, so this is a generalization. Me: that's not how you do it. You're stacking them the wrong way, and the towers are way too high. I've been in this game for 3 years. I know what I'm doing. You put me here to do this job and do it right, and I was trained properly. That's the wrong way to do it. Either help me, or the door's that way. Points at the door. So I go home for the day, because I know it's going to go wrong, and I don't want to be responsible. Not 30 minutes later, I get a call from a coworker furiously screaming at me saying I need to get back and fix my mistake. So I ride my bike back and walk right into the freezer and see a mess. The entire right wall fell down, ruining around $4,000 worth of beer, $2,000 worth of food, and the entire wall is soaked. They had to close down the restaurant for 2 weeks to fix the freezer from the damage. Beer got under the floor and started mucking up the walls and floor. Moral of the story: listen to your employees. And our second story. This is no longer your property. After graduating college, my girlfriend and I moved to a new state where she was accepted into an engineering program. We found a lovely garden apartment-style complex that advertised 100 megabyte per second internet speed included in the price, among a few other amenities. When we met the property manager, he seemed strict but well-mannered, nothing out of the ordinary, until we signed the lease. First problem. Suddenly, walking into his office was not allowed without an appointment. I'd come by to ask a question, saw him browsing social media, and figured he was as available as he made himself to us when we first came by unannounced to view a model apartment. Nope. He refused to answer my question and asked me to make an appointment via email. Second problem. The terms of our lease included an attachment to complete within 48 hours of accepting the keys that details all discrepancies within the unit. We submitted the attachment via email around the 40th hour. The property manager responded that the terms recently changed from 48 to 24 hours, and since we had passed 24 hours, we would be held liable for all found damages. When citing our copy of the lease, which explicitly stated 48 hours, he informs us we signed an outdated copy and would need to make an appointment to come by the office and sign a new lease. Third problem. The internet speed was not 100 megabytes per second as advertised. It was less than 15 millibytes per second off-peak and about 5 millibytes per second on-peak. We again contacted the property manager to complain, but were referred to make an appointment. The fourth problem. We made an appointment to address the previous 3 problems. During this meeting and after I finished voicing our issues, the property manager leans forward and says, "There are other communities in this neighborhood that may be more accepting of people like you and your girlfriend. You're welcome to break the lease and leave." People like you and your girlfriend? I had thought he was referencing our no-nonsense response to his nonsense, daily communication, scheduling multiple meetings to address these issues, but my girlfriend believed he was speaking towards our skin color. Her, a black woman, and myself, a white man. My girlfriend jokingly told me to check my privilege before getting serious, and explaining to me that we were experiencing discrimination at the very least. Solution? I did some research and discovered the property manager worked for a larger organization that owned several complexes throughout the country. I found their director of human resources on LinkedIn and made a connection. I then emailed her copies of all email correspondence, screenshots of the lease, pictures of the internet speed flags advertised by the road, and more screenshots of online speed tests. We further noted his comment and the implications behind it. The human resources director replied within a few hours and promised us she would look into the issue. About 2 days later, the property manager called and asked us to come by his office at our convenience. We showed up near the end of the day and sat down across from him. He then proceeded to ask us if we would be willing to write a letter stating we accepted his apology, despite not yet offering said apology, and in return he would credit us a month's rent, accept our damages attachment, and promise to have the ISP on site within a week to assess the internet issues. We declined. He got personal with us and revealed his job may be at stake and asked us to reconsider. My girlfriend leaned forward and said, "There are other communities in this neighborhood that may be more accepting of people like you. You're welcome to leave." The property manager was replaced in a week with a super sweet older woman who not only gave us all the things the original property manager had promised, the 1-month credit, accepting the damages attachment, and then further scheduling maintenance to fix said damages, having an ISP assess and upgrade the internet to promised speeds, but she also made it clear her office was always open for anything we may need. About a few months later, he's still unemployed. And our next story. Sell more warranties? You got it, boss. Long ago, while in grad school, I worked at a big box electronics store doing a commissioned sales gig. The job wasn't all that bad, but as with all big box retailers, they really wanted you to push their lame personal services contracts, which was their fancy word for an extended store warranty. Where the real money is made, as they say. This place was a way for me to make money on the side while finishing the last leg of school, so I didn't bother with the warranties all that much. I'd mention them, they were good money, but I wasn't pushy with customers. Then a perfect storm hit that allowed me to not only make some money, but a crapload of money, all while having some fun at the store's expense. Perfect storm ingredient 1. Management started heavily hinting that they were going to start writing up salespeople if they didn't start selling X amount of warranties per week and getting X amount of people to sign up for their useless store credit card. Perfect storm ingredient 2. This store had a generic low-price store brand of networking hardware. Well, it turns out the company's buyer and some other management people had taken massive kickbacks from this low-price brand to keep them in the store, which resulted in a crap storm from on high. The buyer and anyone else in on the scandal was fired. In addition, prices were slashed and commissions were raised to get this brand out of the store as fast as possible. So thinking about my new weekly goal and wanting to be a good customer, I started selling warranties more aggressively with the following speech to customers. So, I know you haven't heard of this brand compared to your Netgears and your Linkskis, but think of it like this. You can buy this router that does the same job for $20, get a $10 warranty, save $40 because they're having a fire sale, and if it craps out on you, you can come back and they have to replace it. The real beauty is they're getting rid of this line, so they have to replace it with the next best competitor, which means you'll get a full-price brand name item for the $10 it cost you for the warranty. Surprisingly, a lot of people saw the logic of this and bought their fire sale tech along with a warranty that often cost as much as the item being sold. Eventually, my boss, who was a pretty cool guy, called me over to ask why my warranty numbers were suddenly so high. I liked the guy, so I explained exactly what I was doing. He stared for a moment, then said, "You shouldn't be selling a $10 warranty on a $10 item we're discontinuing." I explained I was just following upper management's orders. Everyone hated upper management, so he just smiled and shook his head. I kept right on selling warranties until the fire sale was over and had some of the best weekly commission numbers I ever got at that store, thanks to the fire sale commission prices and the added warranties. The real kicker? The store manager who threatened writing people up if they didn't hit warranty targets came over a couple of times to congratulate me on all the great work I was doing. She could see the numbers, but apparently my boss forgot to mention to her why that number suddenly spiked. And our last story. Your shift is from 3 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. My boss likes to send emails. 1 minute late? Yep, you get that email stating even 1 minute is late. Leave at 11:15 instead of 11:30? Yep, you get the email. Your shift is until 11:30. You must stay until that time. In my department, we only have a set number of computers, and usually all are taken up on each shift. So, while doing our turnover process that happens anywhere from 11 to 11:30, we will systematically switch employees out. There's a reason the computer I sit at always has someone on it. It's the best. Why? Because I actually clean up the system with defrags, cleanup tool, deleting useless old files, etc. I work on computers. It's what I do. Almost none of my job is off the computer, so what do I do for my last 30 to 45 minutes while not on a computer? I would read. I rolled my chair directly in front of my manager's desk where I would be out of the way and bust out my book and just read. I was allowed to read on the clock, so I would keep my noise hole shut. I'm a talker. Well, this bugged my boss to no end, and he told me I could no longer read during turnover. All right, fair enough. Then I started playing Final Fantasy Tactics on my phone. That got squashed real quick. Then I would just step out and take a third walk around our building. We were allowed 2 on the clock. That also got squashed as I had to be in the command center in case someone has a question. My shift is on point, and we would have third shift up and running at 11 every night, so I had 30 minutes where I couldn't do anything. So I did what I was best at. I talked, to the point where my manager saw that now even third shift wasn't doing their work. This lasted about a week until he changed the rules, saying once turnover is done, we were free to leave as long as third shift was okay with it. They give 0 Fs. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.